Jordan and Air Jordan.
What'd you expect? Elmer Fudd?
In 1992, MLB superstar and part-time basketball player Michael Jordan was in a commercial with cartoon character Bugs Bunny for Nike. The commercial was popular enough for people to salivate at the idea of a real man in a cartoon. This event somehow caused Who Framed Roger Rabbit to disappear from everyone's brain, and thus Space Jam was put into production. So, in 1996, Warner Brothers put out the cult classic smash hit, however you really want to describe it, Space Jam in 1996. So, in 1996, the cult classic, or smash box office hit, however you want to describe it, Space Jam hit the silver screens. The premise being that Michael Jordan must team up with the Looney Tunes to battle an alien menace in a game of basketball. If the Tunes lose, and by proxy, Michael Jordan, they will be enslaved by the aliens. Now, we don't have time to unpack all of that, nor am I the person qualified to talk about the idea of Michael Jordan being enslaved for a number of reasons. So we're gonna not ignore that fact. It's something that we should all be cognizant of, but I'm not that person to start this discussion. So we arrive at the fourth quarter because that's where the big climax of the movie is, the Stretch Armstrong part of the movie that everyone loves so much. 10 seconds left, Monstars ball, they're up by 1, Toon Squad needs any kind of field goal to win the game. So in a typical basketball game, the Monstars would inbound the ball, the Toon Squad would foul, they would shoot free throws, and then the Toon Squad will call a timeout and hopefully make a three-pointer to tie the game to send it into OT. What ends up happening is they do foul. Daffy Duck heads-butts the boy with the ball, and no whistle's called. Marvin's letting the boys play. And I don't really want to get into the discussion about Marvin the Martian being the best idea for a referee. People like to point out that he is both alien and Toon. And sure, that's one way to get a unbiased referee. But also, you can get also human or Toon, it doesn't really matter. All referees are very unbiased. That's generally the idea of them. Let me call a spade here. Marvin the Martian is a dog referee. He essentially lets the boys play, and it's very physical. He lets flagrants go that would make Bobby Portis wide-eyed and flinch at the idea that they weren't called. He would be amazed that there was no whistle blown at any of these. This idea of this basketball game is more favored to the Monstars because they're dummy thick and beefed caked out of their minds and thereby being more physical than the scrawny, regular-looking Toons. I remember a bit where Daffy Duck got flattened like a pancake and said he wanted to stay home and not go to school today, or something like that.
I don't want to go to school today. I want to stay home and bake cookies with you.
No whistle. It's amazing that this game was even played at the way it's amazing that the game was played the way it was. Let me put it that way. I guess this call was really it was a no call, was the biggest makeup call of all time. The Toons pass the ball back and forth until Michael Jordan gets the ball. He's at half court and he makes the leap. Walking on them, I think. I think there's a foul there too, but also no call. And he goes for the dunk that we all know, the most appealing and most remembered cinematic shot of all time, the Stretch Armstrong dunk. But before we even get into the reverie of the Toons inevitably winning, we all know that, we have to get into the fact of pre-1979 basketball and then post-1979 basketball, because that is also important to my issue with Space Jam. For a long time in basketball, all shots were created equal. All field goals were worth 2 points. This is imagine the whole court, or just even their half court, and everything in red is worth 2 points. So it was really just get as close as you can, because that is the most high percentage shot in the game, because no matter else where you are, it's going to be worth the same, so might as well be as close as possible. Everyone knows this. That is how basketball was played for a long time, even after 1979, when the NBA had introduced the three-point line. Now, this was a similar line that ran parallel. Yeah, I guess it was parallel in a sense with the key, and everything outside of that range is now blue. It is worth 3 points. Now, the official NBA rules of how a three-pointer works is that you must start beyond the arc. It's why everyone says, announcers go, shot beyond the arc, from beyond the line, anything of that sort is a three-pointer. You can land in front of the line. It will still be worth a three-pointer as long as your shot starts while you're in the air, which it has to, because if you jump to take a shot, that would be a turnover. Anyways, I just realized this, so that rule is very confusing to me. Jordan does all these things. He clearly starts his shot from beyond the arc. He's at half court. The Monstars are grabbing his legs. And he releases the shot before he reaches the ground, mainly because it would be less cinematic if he didn't do the Air Jordan thing that everyone knows that he does, even the shoes that he does. Now the argument is that he touched the rim because it's a dunk and it would be a two-pointer. If you go frame by frame, he doesn't. He clearly whiffs through the rim. I think this is mainly because the animators didn't want to have to go through all the hubbub of trying to work out in their animator brains. Trust me, I was an animator. I have one of those brains of a real 3D human Michael Jordan whose arm is 3 times the length of his own body. It touching the rim and him grabbing onto it, and then them trying to figure out the anatomy of what would happen next. It would be a very confusing thing, and I don't think they wanted to go through that. So his hand goes past the rim. I mean, technically, I guess it's a dunk. If we are going by the rules of the 2008 dunk contest where Dwight Howard dressed up as Superman because that was his thing back then, and he leaped, 15 feet? I don't know, man. His hand went so high, he literally just threw the ball into the rim instead of him dunking it. Probably for health reasons, because I don't know what kind of force that would do to your body if you grab the rim. Whatever. That's a dunk. But I'm still on the side that you count that as a three-pointer, because if Dwight Howard had done that from the three-point line, you going, whoa, what an incredible physical feat, and also you'd be arguing, is that a three-pointer? So here we are. Instead of the Toons winning by 1, they win by 2. Doesn't make that much of a difference. Why isn't it a three-pointer? I don't know. Marvin the Martian's a dog ref and doesn't do the 3-point sign, because who cares if it's a 3-pointer or a 2-pointer? It's still for the game. Scorekeeper's not paying attention. His eyes are glued to the fact that a human man who is in cartoon land, I guess the scorekeeper's also a toon, because there are like 3 non-toons, not counting the aliens because they're also animated, in this world, watching a not real human person that they know they entertain stretch out like a toon. And he doesn't even think about saying, oh, is this a 3-pointer or is it a 2-pointer? This is something I'm really going to have to think about. Or maybe Warner Brothers was banking on the fact that no one was going to notice or care. Because why would they? It's a movie. It's so much fun. Did you see how his arm stretched like it wasn't even part of his body? It looked weird that he could even do this. Why didn't Michael Jordan do this on any of his other runs? It would be so fun and cool because those Bulls were so fun and cool. And the Warner Brothers just like, yeah, who cares? They did it. It's more dramatic to win by 1. And it's not a fun personality trait to point things out like this.